I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look, she's standing in the crowd. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up my door. I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. I won't see your face wherever I look. I'm blinded by the light. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, died a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light. I won't look back or close my eyes. Let the past be down by night. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, had a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light. Cause I just wanna see the light.
Hello and welcome to our Facebook Live and also to all our viewers on YouTube as well. So this afternoon I have 4 lovely projects for you. We have this one here, which is a lovely die cutting one with a precious Marieke edger. We've got a lovely Aall Creations frame with a little bit of paper folding on that one, so I've got a little technique for you there. That's those 2. And then these 2 use an Elizabeth Crafts art journal, the Honeycomb Dots, along with some little bees from another die set, which I will show you later. So I am going to move those out of the way and we are going to start. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw it quite like that. I'm going to start with that one. Okie dokie. Right. So we are using this edger die. It's by Precious Marieke. It's from their Flowers and Fruits collection, and this particular die is called the Fruit Blossom Edge. So we're going to use that. For the flower, I'm going to use one of the Elizabeth Crafts Designs flowers. This is the clematis. I am only going to use the 2 big ones because I just wanted a sort of big statement flower. And then for the sentiment, I'm using, oh, excuse me, I'm using this alphabet set from Trimcraft, yeah, which is called, if I recall rightly, bunting alphabet. Yeah, bunting alphabet, because you've got the little bunting there. Okay, so those are the 3 die sets that I am going to use for this. I am using craft card, and I'm using a lovely little bit of paper from my stash, which just has a little wood effect at the back. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut the this lovely precious mariachi die. Okay. Oh, that's not that, is it? Oh, not a great start. Here we go. This is the one. Now, I have cut it, well, for the card, I've cut it twice. I've already done it once, so I'm only going to show you one cut here. I am going to put it up to the edge, and I have actually cut the card the right size, just so I'm not having to trim lots of things. So that's, it's just a tiny weeny smidge under 5 inches, but I tend to cut them to 5 inches, and then it's easier to enough to take the rest of it off. So let us first of all find the edge of my tape. There it is, and we're going to tape that down. Okay. Okay, right, so let's get my plate. Now this edger die is not directional, as in it doesn't matter which way up it goes. So either these ways or either of those ways, it all looks right. Sometimes edges have a particular direction in which you need to use them, but this one is one of those lovely ones that bear with me, my heat gun was in the way as it was coming out at the end there. Right, so let us remove the tape. Ooh. Excuse me, try not to get hooked up there, and just put that a little bit off. I will trim that to look nicer in a moment, and let's pull this off. I will clean that later. As you see, it's cut beautifully. So I'm just going to get my scissors, and I'm going to just trim that a little bit off there, and that little bit off there. Okay, so there's one, and I've already gone ahead and cut the other. So I've got these 2 here that are going to form the top and bottom. My base card I've made out of craft card, so cut it down to the length. So cut the A4 card to 6 inches and then scored it in half. And I have these 2 bits ready to go in the middle. I just wanted something really like clean looking. So against the craft card, I found this lovely light whitewashed wood in my stash, but anything light would look good. So these are going to go here. So we'll get all of that stuck on first, and then I'll show you how I did covered up the middle and the rest in a moment. So let's get some glue going. Put that the right way. Okay, so put some glue on the back here. And we'll make sure that's up the right way. I want the grain of the wood to be going down the card. There we go. Okay, and now these, just going to grab my my bit of gluey paper so that I can put a big bit across there, and a big bit across there, and then I'm going to get my little fine nozzle glue out and add some onto the rest. Oh, it needs to come down to the tip. There we go. So I'm just going to dot some around on here. This is one of those cards that looks really beautiful, but is really quite simple to make. There's no, if you're not into your inking, if you just like your die cutting, And this is a really lovely card. It's a really lovely, very versatile edger here because it's quite generic with these flowers. So I am just through my craft sheet, can just see the squares on my mat. So I'm looking for where roughly halfway is, so that I'm kind of get this placed. Okay, so that one's on. I'm just going to get a clean piece of paper to go over the top of that so that I don't get glue from my fingers all over everything. And then we're going to add glue. Oh, glue all my fingers. That's why I need those bits of paper. Otherwise, I end up pushing things with gluey fingers and then it all sticks to me and comes back up, which isn't what I really want to happen, particularly when I'm demonstrating. Okay, so we're getting some glue around the edges here. Okay, and then I'm just going to block some of that off. And that one's already where it should be, so I'm just going to butt that one up against it there. Okay, and get my little paper, give it a good press down. Okay, so that's the start of our card, and I have cut a strip of this paper to go here, and then a strip of craft card that sits just inside it, and then another strip there. So we'll stick those ones on while we're here. And if I've done my calculations right, then this one is just wide enough. Well, might be a little bit small this time. Just about wide enough for the letters to sit in. So this bit in the middle serves two purposes. It covers up the join between the two pieces that you've cut using the edger, and it also provides a place for you to put your sentiment. Okay, so stick that there. Oh, I'm gonna turn it around. The reason being is because it's cut from the same piece of paper, and these do line up. And I know that's really, really, really a bit OTT, but it will do my head in if I don't line those up. So that's there ready. So what we need now, we need the flower and we need the letters. So I'm going to grab a piece of craft card. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need, so I'm going to get these two offcuts. I am going to grab my my clematis. So these are the two big parts of the clematis, and that's all I want for this. And then I'm going to just drop in and cut some of these letters. I have cut some because, as you can see, I'm going to need two O's. So if I try to do them all, it would take me two passes through. So I'm just going to do what I can. 4F-O-R. Yes, you can spell 4F-O-R-Y. Can't do another O. We'll get out the pack in a minute. Oh, fingers, you. Okay, and I'm just going to cut that bit of card off because we don't need all of that. We don't. So let's get some tape. One bit there that I can use for these letters. Okay. And let's see if we can use these. The flowers, and I'm going to need another little bit for those other letters. Okay, so we're going to do this once through without the magnetic shim. See if they'll cut. No, you always want to try to use as little pressure as possible. It helps stop your plate bowing too much. So if they're fairly simple dies, fairly simple shapes, shouldn't need too much pressure. Out it comes. Let's have a look. Oh, yep. So those have cut. How about letters cut? Yep, our letters have cut too, so all good, all good. I'm just gonna put the pin back in my glue because it's quite warm with the lights. So I don't want it drying out. So I have my pokey tool. There we go. We have one. We have two layers for our flower, and we have our letters. Pop these out, and I am going to put these back on, these dies back on. The last thing you need is to lose a letter out of an alphabet set. And while these are a nice size, they are still fairly little. The sort of die that will just wander off from your craft mat without a care in the world. Then you spend hours looking for it. Y, X, Y, U. Okay. Right, so now here's hoping that I did cut out the rest of the things that I want. So we've got 2 layers of the flower in the same pattern paper, and I cut out plenty of letters. There's another O for you. Okay, so a very, very quick bit of flower forming, not in any great shape or form, but just to give it a little bit of dimension. I'll grab my do I want that one? Bear with me. Let's see what other size ball tools I can find. Actually, no, that one is fine. We'll go with that. I did make the right decision. And all I'm going to do is this is on the back of each of the flowers. I'm just going over, just give them a little bit of dimension, just to make it a little bit more 3D. You don't need to do this. And if you don't have a flower forming mat, you can use the back of a mouse mat. But yeah, I just think it gives it a little bit more shape, a little bit more dimension on your card. Oop. Helps if I actually shape it before I try turning it over. Okay, so there's our 4 layers for our flower. We are going to glue a little bit of glue in the middle, and then we're going to put, I'm not completely putting it in the middle, I'm just slightly offsetting it because otherwise we don't see all the layers of petals through. And then a bit more glue in the middle, and then we're going to go with this one slightly there, and then our last one, a bit of glue on my mat there. I haven't done that completely straight, but we can cover that with this next one. There we go. Okay. So, I am going to just put that to the side. No, that's not quite there. Just going to put that to the side to allow that to dry. It's my sticky fingers, it's why it's coming off. It's going, I want to stay on the glue on your finger. There we go. Right. Letters, we're going to stick the letters on, and I'm going to work from this way in so that I know I'm going to have enough room where I need it. So I'm going to grab my tweezers. I'm going to grab, what do we end with? A U. Goodness me, I can't spell today. U in U. There we go. And so whoops. Start at this end, and just sit in there nicely. You, and then we want to know blot it off a little bit. There's our O. My tweezers are getting a little bit gunky. I think they need a good old clean over Christmas. I think they're the only thing I really use tweezers for is when I'm gluing. Ooh, and there's the sticky finger. There you go. And then a little space and the R for 4. So as you can see, there's not a huge amount to this card, but it really is effective when you put 2 of those. When you put 2 of those edge dies sort of on top of each other like this. The O. And we've got one more for the F. And then we will put the flower on, and we just add a few little flat back pearls into the middle just to fill that hole. The clematis die does come with a central part which has got the stamens on that and that one, but I didn't really want that for this card, so I'm going to put the flower on here, and I am going to use some glue gel for that purpose. So there's the flower, and then I'm going to put some glue gel in there, and I'm going to find my little flat back pearls and move that one out of the way. Empty a few of those onto the mat. This way so it doesn't dry out. Oh, come on. There you go. There you go. Right, so I need a little gem. So I'm just going to start. I may have put a bit too much, if I'm being honest, a bit too much glue here. But hey ho, we'll go with it. It's there. So helps you pick the pearl up, doesn't it? I'm just going kind of around the side to begin with. My little wax pencil needs warming up a little bit. Doesn't want to pick anything up. There we go. And on the side there, turn these over. And side there. And there. You can do this with sparkly gems as well. Or you may have something, sort of a little embellishment that is big enough that it will just fit in the whole thing. I think I might just have got enough out here. So, I think just one more will do. Just to fill in the centre of that flower. There we go. Okay. And that will dry, obviously, clear. Takes a little while, but it will dry clear. So, there we go. There is our first card. Our For You card. Using that beautiful edge die from Precious Mariecki. It's way over here waiting to be cleaned. It's in my clean me box. So here's the die. You can see the beautiful pattern with the bits in. So we've used that twice. We've used the clematis die from Elizabeth Crafts and this lovely little alphabet from Trim Craft. So that's our first card. Really nice, straightforward one. I'm going to put that to one side and have a little bit of a reset. And the next one that I am going to do is the one with the frame. Bear with me, I'm just making sure I'm putting the right things away and leaving the right things out. Otherwise, we could get in a pickle. So, that one's done. Our next one then. Oh, and I'm back. We're going to do this one. This card, put the box down. This card uses this fashion frame. It's by Aall Creations. It's from their range called Sweet Girls. It's all about sort of girly things, hair, makeup, clothes, you know, that kind of thing. So we're going to use the frame as a, well, basically to frame this lovely little dress that I'm going to show you how to make. I have done a video this morning using the frame in a different way. So if you want another idea on how to use this particular die, then that will be going up sometime next week. So let's have a look at what we've got. So I am using, as my base, I am using some Centura Pearl. This is from the Precious Metals selection. It's kind of a nice bronzy colour. So I've made my base card from it. I've got a piece here to cut my frame, and I have a piece of white card which I'm going to ink to match the dress. I have a piece of paper which I'll explain the paper in a minute because it is quite flimsy, but I'm going to use that. Oh, I was going to say, phew, I did cut it to the right size, and then I have this piece of paper which I'm going to make the dress from, and I have a little bow to stick around her dress. So let's start by cutting the frame. I'm going to cut this out of our Centura Pearl. So I'm going to grab some pieces of tape. I'm going to put a couple on the inside and another one on the outside, and we are going to put that through our machine. This is a more intricate die, it needs a bit more pressure, so we're going to use the magnetic shimmer with that one, and off it goes through. So this, as soon as I saw this die, I thought about making this kind of dress. Now I've made them before, in a much more simple way. So I use I've used in the past, you cut a scallop circle, you cut a section out which becomes like the top or the bodice of the dress, and the other bit folds down, excuse me, to make a skirt. But I wanted something a little bit different for this, something a little bit more involved, and so I kind of did a little bit of a trawl on the internet, as you do, looking for some inspiration and ideas, and I found this little site called Red Ted Art, who had this amazing little sort of video showing how to make this gorgeous little dress, and I thought, yeah, that's the one I like. So I'm just looking for my little brush. That's the one I want to use. So once we've got this cut out, I'm gonna assemble all these bits, and then we can focus on the dress, because it adds this lovely little girly sort of theme that's going on around on the frame. There we go. Get this out. Ooh. There we go. And that will be put in my box to clean later. Okay, you can see it's cut beautifully, and even in that one pass, we've got some nice embossing detail. You can see here where it's been embossed to show the screen on the phone, and you've got here the detail on the hair straighteners and sort of around here on the mirror. So it's a very lovely frame die. So let's assemble this part. I need a bit of ink because I didn't have a piece of card to match this, so I went into my oxides and found dried marigold, which is a pretty good match. The thing with when you've got a good selection of a good quality ink, it opens up a whole host of things. I don't need necessarily to have, you know, card in every single colour. Excuse me. It's my lunch repeating. I can create card to match what I want to do, and particularly if you make inky backgrounds, then you can then make sure you've got a toning or a matching piece of card that will go really perfectly well with your project. So I'm just going to clean this up. Bear with me. Get my spray. And it won't be wasted. Okie dokie. Right. So let's assemble this, and then we'll have a look at the dress. I want to make sure I've got, excuse me, all my bits around the right way before I stick. That'll do. Right, so glue on the back of this one. Really, I should heat set that ink because I'm going to get it on my fingers. But hey ho, we will cope. The other projects I'm doing today are all sort of yellowy and orange as well. So my fingers have that on. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Oh look, it goes that way. There, and I'm going to get a piece of card. Press that down. Partly because the ink is wet, you can see the ink there. And I won't be getting it all over my fingers. There's that. So this is actually a piece of copy paper that I've printed a digi paper onto, and I'll explain why when we come to look at the dress. Because I was playing around with what I was going to do. I was printing out a few things. I'm sure quite a lot of you will have a library on your computer of digi papers, and to be quite honest with you, they will be perfect for this project because you need a very thin paper to make this dress. Copy paper is perfect, but obviously you want a pretty copy paper. Now you can ink stamp onto copy of paper, but you have to be a little bit careful because it is quite thin, so you need to just take a little bit of care if you're going to do that. But I thought, no, we'll have a look in the stash of digi papers I've got on my computer that would work well with this beautiful theme, this girly theme. And I've also seen I've got a few little bits left in the die here, so I'm just going to poke those through. Get rid of those. Okay, all right, so there is our gorgeous frame already. So that can go to one side and dry while I'm showing you how to make the dress. So, as I said, you need quite a thin paper, and I felt in my stash all the gorgeous papers were too heavy, too thick, because you need something that's going to be able to fold multiple times. Now on like I said, I think it was red, I've got it written down, red Ted Art. The dimensions they give you a dress this size, which was way too big for what we wanted. So I just reduced the size. So for this dress, you need a 10 centimeter square of paper. Okay. Now, like I say, I printed out a variety of things before I decided to go with this one. I don't think you want too busy a pattern, but dots, I think dots always look pretty on a dress. So we're going to go with that one. I do in here, I have each step. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make it with this piece, but as I go, I'm going to put, if I can get them all in shot, and Dean will let me know if they're not, I will put each stage on my, he's looking at me going, oh my God, what are you doing to me? Right, so you need a 10 centimeter square of paper. Okay, and the first thing you do is you fold it in half. Believe me, the first time you do it, it's a little bit, ooh. The second time you do it, and the third time, It's just really, really straightforward. So that's the first thing you do. You fold it in half and you fold it in half again. So you've got like this kind of cross effect. There's the first bit. Okay. Now, for this next bit, you can see what I've done is I folded the piece of paper into that middle crease. Okay. So I'll put that one there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side and fold it into that middle crease. And the same here. Okay, so that's our second step. Okay, now the next step is, I'm looking at this and going, what did I do there? The next step, I know what I did, is to then bring, the way you folded it is to bring that into the middle there. Okay, so this is where we folded it over just now. We're going to come up and bring that into the middle there. So that's what we've got here. So next stage, we're going to fold that in half on that original line. We've already got a fold line there. So there we are, in half. Okay. Next stage. In half there, we need to fold that back up, and that creates our little sort of bodice waistline. So here, and I'm going to fold it up roughly a centimetre. Now, hopefully you can see the amount of folds here. If I had a thicker paper, this just wouldn't be happening. You need a nice thin paper. All right, that's the next step. Our next step looks like that. So we're going to flip it over, and you're going to grab hold of this, put your finger on the top, and pull it out and crease. That's all you need to do. And that creates the bottom of our dress. Same the other side, grab that bottom corner, hold it at the top, pull it out and crease. Okay, that's where we're at. Have you got it all in? Excellent. Right. So now we turn it over and we need to fold these corners in. So because this is smaller than the original one, it is a little bit more fiddly than the size that they made it, but it is still absolutely doable. So I'm folding that one in like at 90 degrees, and then I'm folding this one in the same. Okay, that's where we're at now. Okay, so we've got to get from here to here. Now this is possibly one of the trickiest steps, but I found a kind of a way that it works. So you need to bring those two flaps out, and I use a pokey tool to get in there, in between those two layers. And then you need to kind of push. You've got a fold line here and a fold line here from where you creased over. And you've kind of got to push into that crease line and then push it down. Okay. That one you might want to have a practice with a few times. I've not done it great on there, but you basically, if I do it on this one, you started here, you pull it out, bring that bit down and fold it down there. Okay, that's where we're at now. Make sure I've got these in the right order. So our next job is we fold these down. So this one here folds down to here. This is creating the neckline, and this one folds down to here. Okay, we've got that. Let's have a look. Here we go. So now you can see what we've done is we've folded these bits in. So this bit is coming in here, and it brings the dress with it, but you don't want to bring it all the way over. So you push that down there and then fold there. So same with the other side. As you fold this in, it brings the dress in, but you don't want to bring it all the way in. Push it down here and fold to the corner. Okay, so if you have a look at the front, that's where we're at. We're almost there. So we've got one last step, and that's to fold these bits over to create the sleeves. This one there and there. So that when we turn it over, we have our dress. So those are the stages. So if you are watching this on record, then you can sort of still put that pause it, and you can screenshot that, and you can see those are all the stages that you go through to get to this. I will at some point put this on my blog as well, so that and do like a photograph step by step. But there we go, that's our dress. I'm going to put these away. I can guarantee you that once you've done it once, and do it with scrap paper, just do it with a plain piece of copy paper. Once you've played with it once, or even do it on a bigger size so you get the idea, you'll find that it just becomes second nature. So there's our dress. It's going to go here. Now I did add a little bit of ink to the bottom. I'm not going to do it with this one. So I'm going to get my 3D glue gel, because we've got so much paper sort of going on here. I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to put a little bit of glue under here first. A bit of glue there to glue that bit down, and a bit of glue here to glue that bit down. We'll just keep it a little bit more together, and then I'm going to put some 3D glue gel on there. Give it a little bit of shape. Ooh, very close. And there we go in the middle. A little bit higher. And then I have a little tiny little bow to go in the centre of the dress. Just like that. And that fashion frame from Aall Creations just provides the perfect backdrop for a little topper like that. You may have some dress dies in your stash that you could use with this, but if you don't, a nice little bit of paper folding, do a little bit of skill there will create that one. I do like a bit of paper folding. Excellent. So that was project number 2 with our lovely fashion frame and our little bit of paper folding. So we're going to put that one to one side. And now we're going to get a little bit inky. I am just going to put the lid back on this, not the lid, the pin, because it's quite warm under the lights and things do dry out quite quickly. Okay, so project number 3. Okay, now this is a bit more in depth. This one's going to take us a bit longer. And this is what I'm going to create, this little shadow box. Now, the shadow box is just a cheap one I've picked up. You can get them all over the place. You can get them in hobby shops, but you can also get them in a lot of the department shop, superstores, big department stores, like things like the Range and that. But they're not expensive, so you don't need anything expensive. It just gives it makes it into a gift. So this would be something that you could use as a gift for someone. Okay, so I'm going to put it there. I have another one here ready to go. So what I've done is it came with like another mount, an insert, which made that smaller, but it was too small for what I wanted. So I'm just going to pop the back of this out. And okay, so this bit I'm keeping. It takes it in just a little bit from the edge, but not too much. So even though these shadow frames tend to come with these inner mounts, you don't have to use them. So I feel like I'm saying so a lot. I do apologise. I'm very aware of that. I'm going to put this on the floor for the moment, because I've got a lot of bits and pieces for this project. Now, I wanted something solid to work on, But obviously I didn't want to work on this because obviously you might want to change what's in the shadow box. That is the beauty of things like this. You can change. So I've got some grey board. Now this came with something I ordered at Christmas for Christmas presents, and I kept it. So it's quite a thick cardboard, and I literally put this this bit of I don't know, MDF, this little bit of board that's at the back of the shadow box onto my grey board, and I drew around it and I've cut it out. So I've got a nice sturdy base. So even if you take it out of the shadow box, it could still be used as like a wall hanging. And I have cut a piece of black card. Doesn't exactly fit, but it fits pretty much. That way. Yeah. But it fits, sorry, pretty much. And you won't, because of this, if I show you, you won't see those edges anyway. Okay, because they'll be under that little bit of the shadow box. So I am going to just stick this on because it is just there to provide a back sort of border for our project. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Okay, so we're going to stick that on. Okay, and we can put all of that to the side for now. So let's have a look at the dies. I'm going to bring the thing back in, the finished one back in, to explain what I have used to create the actual thing. So for the bees, I have used this little die here, the bee die from Janine's Art Humming Bees collection, and this is all kinds of insects. So in the collection you have a dragonfly, and I have done a video on using that with some lovely acetate wings. We've got a little ladybird, and I've done a little video on that one. Spider, that would be great for Halloween. If you're into Halloween cards, you can make some lovely glistening sort of webs with glittery glue. A fly, similar thing. I think we want that for Halloween. Then we've got the bee that we're going to use. We've got a wasp here, and we've got 3 little beetles. Okay, so that's one die set. Then for the honeycomb, I'm using this. Now this is from the Elizabeth Crafts Art Journal collection, and there's a massive collection of things that Elizabeth Crafts have done for art journaling, and it's something I will have a go at with these dies. But this is called Honeycomb Dots. So you can, it's in 2 pieces. You can cut the dots into a piece of card without cutting anything out, or like I've used here, you can use the edging die to cut out the complete thing, and that's what I've done for this particular project. So that's the second die that I have used. The sentiment, be happy, I have created using, oh, bear with me, I'm hoping it's over here. Here it is. Using this alphabet die, and this is from Trimcraft First Editions, the alphabet bunting dies. I haven't used the bunting, but I've used the alphabet dies. And then I have also used a set of stamps, and these are from Aall Create, this beautiful deep focus set of stamps, because they're beautifully sort of collage, perfect for creating my background. Okay, and I already have some of them on the blocks ready to go. So I'm using those dies and stamps, and then in terms of creating the background, I am using some Distress Oxide sprays, and because it's sort of a very sort of bee, sort of honey kind of theme, I've gone for Fossilized Amber and Spice Marmalade. In the Distress sprays, I also have them in the oxide pads as well, so that I can do some stamping for the background, and also the black soot for the same reason, to do the background. So I'm going to start by cutting the background, that honeycomb, and then cut the letters, and then I'll show you how I made the background. So there's quite a few stages in this one, so we will work through them. I'm going to put those to the side for the moment, and these, and I'm going to grab this die to begin with, and a piece of black card. Now, the other thing, and I just realised I don't have anything to put them in. When I was making this and the next card, you end up with, well, I'd say hundreds, there might well be hundreds of these tiny little dots that are cut out. And I have kept them because I thought, wow, they'd be perfect for, well, a couple of things. You could do a card with the bees where you've got the trail and you can use all those dots to create the trail. Or if you're into your shaker cards, they would be perfect little things for your shaker cards. So that's one thing worth bearing in mind. I don't always sort of save things, sort of the waste from dies, but sometimes there are things that are useful. And at the moment, I'm kind of just tapping my fingers because I can't see my tape. There's my tape, so I need to tape this down. Because it's in two pieces, I'm going to start by just taping the outer down. Okay, and then that's not going to keep moving around when I'm trying to line the middle up. So a bit at the top and a bit at the bottom, and then I'm going to bring this in and try and, as best as you can, it's not ever going to be perfect, but as best as you can, kind of get an even space. Oh, see, I've moved it already. An even space around the die, and then I'm just going to put a couple of pieces that go from the inside to the outside. Okie dokie. Do that to the side. We're going to put this through on our Gemini. Now, there are loads of these dots, so you might find with your machine you might need to go through a couple of times, but when you take the die out the first time, turn it over. I'm just going to remove my plate. Now I can see that this is cut, so I don't need to run that through again. I'm just going to clean those off of my plate there, and they're everywhere. So I am cleaning it up because not because I particularly want to save them this time, but because they're so little, they'll get into other things when you're die cutting and cause little imprints. So I am going to take my die brush and run it over and get out as many of those little, you can see they're popping out all over the place. You see, look at them. Look at all of that. Now, if you wanted to create all these tiny, tiny little circles, it would take you forever. So they are worth carrying. They are worth holding on to. And some of them aren't coming out because they're underneath the tape. So we'll take the tape off. We'll take that out. Okay. I am just going to finish cleaning. Excuse me. Ooh. I'm just going to finish cleaning the die out because I need it for the next project. And if you don't clean all those little bits out, they don't cut as well the next time. So I'm just going to put that there. Get rid of that. Get rid of the last of these. Oop, they go. Ping, 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 ping. They're off. Everywhere. Okay, right, that's clean. So I'm not going to save them, but I do need to make sure I got them all out of here. 1, 2. Coming out. Done. Right, so for today, I am going to bin those. It seems a shame, but There we go. So we have our honeycomb cut out ready for our little thing there. Now I can't do the bees themselves yet because I need to do the background, but we can do the be happy, and I have cut a few letters already because I'm just going to check what I have cut. I can't remember. Bear with me, sorry. I've got so many projects that I can't remember what I have and haven't cut. I'll tell you what, we'll cut them in black anyway, and then we'll see what we've got when we get to it. And if necessary, we can cut some more. And if we've cut too many, well, never mind. Right, she says, oh, they're here. Sorry, I've got piles of things on the table. I'm going to move that in. And I am just going to get rid of a couple of things because I am starting to block up my table. There we go. Right. So be happy. I need some black card, which I've just thrown in that bin. I'm going to use some of this sort of waste here. Perfect for these kinds of things. So I can't do them all at the same time because I need 2 E's and 2 P's, but we can cut out one of each. So B, E, and then H, A, I need a P, no I don't, sorry, and a Y. Oh, come on, let's cut that off. Right, okie dokie.
So should have anything to do with bees, so it's going to be another stem.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. And that set is the set of insects, even just for the bees, is great. It's so versatile. But yeah, I love this, and I can see this also because it's for art journaling, actually kind of ripping into it as well. So it's got more of a sort of a ragged edge. Right, be happy, be happy. Don't worry. Sorry, I'm not. We might get done for copyright. And there we go. You can't be seeing that, but you know what I mean. Be happy. Right, let's stick that one through. Probably at the end I'll find. I'm gonna swap because my bottom plate is getting a bit bowed, so I'm gonna swap over to the flat one, and we'll go with that way. And I just realised I put that through with a bit too much pressure because those dies don't need it, and I left the magnetic in there. But whew, we're through. So here's our be happy. I'm going to just put that to one side with the dies in, and then I know where they are when I need them later. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the background. So the background card for making this back piece, but also it's what I cut the bees out with, and then sort of the drop shadow of the letters. Okay, so I do a piece of white stamping card, and you can see how much yellow and orange I've been doing recently. A piece of stamping card here, and I am going to spray it with my distress oxides. Now, if you've not used sprays before, Tim Holtz recommends you do this. I recommend that on the bottle. He does, though, when you watch him on the videos, he does say that if, you know, we all get a bit impatient. I'm just making sure I've got the right lids with the right bottles, because some of them have different lids. He does say, oh, he does. Except I've not, oh, there it is. Phew, looking for me paper towel. He does say that, you know, you can, if you put a piece of paper towel around it, you can shake it up. Basically what you're doing, distress oxide is a mixture of dye ink and pigment. It's what makes it different from distress ink. Distress ink is the ink base, the sort of the more transparent watery base, and it's the pigment in the distress oxides that make them more opaque. And when you get them in a bottle in liquid form, you need to mix them. So you do need to shake them and get the ball bearing. So you can see that you get a little bit of ink coming out. So if you do that without holding on to it, you're just going to get ink all over your hand. Or if you're not holding at the top, you know what I mean, you've got the ink coming out. So all I'm going to do is just randomly spray this piece of card with this fossilized amber and this, I know this spray, occasionally it wants to do like the drops and occasionally it wants to do a nice little mist. So I just go with it. Whatever it wants to do, I go with. Okay, so I've got a fair bit of the lighter yellow, and then I'm going to put the spice marmalade, the darker orange on the top. And this one does like to splat. I know this one. Isn't it sad that I know my spray bottles? And I know their little quirks and their little characters. So, those dots, I'm leaving them. You could go over with paper towel and block those up. That will give you a nice effect. But this one is going to go aside to dry because I already have one that's ready, so we don't need to wait around. But that is exactly what I say. That's exactly what I did. I did that, but it looks very different because obviously I sprayed in a different way. So, so this is what I ended up with. And these little bits here are where there was a lot of ink and it's just sort of dried off and evaporated down. So that's the sort of thing that you will end up with. Now we need to transform this into the sort of thing that you see here. And we do that by stamping. So we're going to use the Aall Create Deep Focus set of stamps. And I used this one, but not a lot. I've got it upside down, sorry. I used this one, but not a lot, because it's quite big, but it does give a nice little, nice big coverage quickly. I used this one mostly, and a little bit of that one. Okay, so I've already have them mounted onto acrylic blocks. And the best way when you're stamping a background is because the whole thing about this is you're building layers. And so you've put your first layer down with your sprays and your next layer is going to be through the ink. But even with the ink, the stamping, you can build more layers. So if you start with the lighter of your inks, stamp with that, that gives a really subtle effect on the background. You then go to your next colour and the black is the last one that you put on. So you're building up these layers on your background. So we're going to start with our fossilised amber and I am going to ink this. You can see it's a stamp I've used quite a bit. I am not bothered if I get an even coverage on this stamp because I'm not going for a perfect image. That's not what I'm after. I'm after a little bit of texture on the background. I'm going to turn it this way. There is an up and a down, I think, on some of these because they've got a bit of writing, but I'm not too worried. And I like to do off the page as well. So I'm just literally going to stamp down. I'm, again, not bothered if I get an even stamp. I'm just going to keep going. A little bit here, so you've only got the edges of there. It doesn't matter. You are not looking for a perfect image. So that's the only one I would do. Oh, look at that ink. Let's go in and use that. There we go. Whee! I'm not going to use that. I might use it with the orange once, but I'm not going to use it anymore. This is the one that I used most. You can see the amount of yellow ink that's on the... I'm not very neat. I love this. This is the kind of stamping I love. I know I've demonstrated sort of stamping and colouring in, and I absolutely need a stamping platform for that. This is the kind of stamping I like. This where there's no real rules. It doesn't really matter. You are just creating a really gorgeous background. So I'm going to do a few more with this ink. Remember that you are going back in with other colour ink, so you don't need to cover the back. But already you can see I'm building up this layer with this lightest colour. And I am going to use this one as well, just to put in a few more bits, a little bit along the edge. I'm going to be cutting into this, so I'm not too worried if I get like these edges in the middle. I'll just work with them. And you can see when I get the smaller ones, I don't even bother. Look, here we go. Already I'm getting covered in yellow ink. I knew I'd have yellow hands. Excuse me, yellow hands by the end of it. So here we go. Right, so we've got a big... I'm going to watch this video back. And I'm going to count how many times I said so. Because I'm sure it's a lot. We are going to move on from fossilized amber to spice marmalade. Okay, and we're going to do a similar thing. So I am going to ink this one up. Again, I'm not too bothered about whether I get it evenly over, because I'm only looking for bits of it to create an impression. So where should we go? Let's go over here. There we go. A bit there. A bit there. As you can see, as I've not inked it properly, I just get little bits of impressions in different places. I love these kinds of stamps that are just, they're not specific. You can use them however you want. Okay, so let's get, there's another one. So let's get this one inked up. You can see there's still some of the fossilized amber on there, but I'm not bothered about that either. Here we go. And you can see we're really building this image up. And stamp pretty much until there's no ink left. Do as many generations of stamping as you can with it. Use it all. Okay, what else should we do? A little bit over there. 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 I want something in there, but I think I'll use that one. So this one now with the spice marmalade, and I kind of want something in there. There we go. And there. And there. This, I do love all sorts of crafting, but I have got to admit that this is my favourite kind of crafting. Just the whole inky, messy, creating a background. You're never going to get the same thing twice. Okay, we're going to move on to the black soot. I am not going to use this one because this is too big. I don't want that much black on there. I want some black, but I don't want kind of that volume of black. So we're going to put that one away, and I am going to ink up. And again, I'm not over sort of pressing onto that. And again, we're just going to go. Okay, see, it hasn't all come out. I don't mind. I don't necessarily want it to. Okay, see, I'm creating, I got 4 out of that one. And I'm not using the whole image really anywhere. I'm going to put one in the middle because I want a bit of black. So we're going to cut into this to do our background and to cut our little bees and our little letters out. So we'll do. Whoop. There we go. A little bit there. Okay. Well, I've got a bit of ink left, haven't I? Don't want to leave any ink, do I? Okay, so I am now going to just do a little bit with this one, and then our background is created. I'm really liking this. It's almost, I think, it's almost got kind of like a musical notes sort of look to it. Now, using a stamp like this in the middle, you might think, oh, you're going to get an edge. Well, if you don't ink it all properly and you don't press down in everywhere, you're not. You're just going to get little bits of it like that. That's why I put it on the end of a long block, so I'm not kind of necessarily putting pressure in where, you know, if I wanted this as a full stamp, I would. Okie dokie. Whee! Sack the juggler. I'm liking that. Okay, and I'm going to stop before I stop liking it. Because I do have a tendency to do that. And I do apologise from here on out. I have messy hands. There's not a lot I can do about that. And they will only get worse. So, there is our background. So, that's those beautiful stamps from Aall Create. Those deep focus stamps. I am going to give that a bit of a blast with my heat gun. Just to dry those last sort of stamping bits off. And you can see, I mean, like I did with the sprays before, you don't have to cover it all. I've got some paler bits, some white bits, but it is a good idea either to heat set it or allow it time to dry before you put another layer on. Distress oxides blend beautifully when they're wet, but they also layer beautifully when they're dry, so that they're really, really versatile. Okay, so now I have my background sheet that I'm going to cut my background from, and also my bees, because it helps reduce the amount of work you've got to do for your bees. So here is my background, and I just need to decide, do I want that really white corner or shall we stick up here? The other thing to, if you are going to put this into a shadow box, is to think about what is actually going to be on show. So whereas if I was doing this on a card, I'd probably leave quite a thin border, but because this is going into the shadow box and this is going to be on top, I need to leave a much bigger border to show that black, because I really want that contrast with the black border excuse me, with the orange background, but also so that it sort of matches into this. Okay, so let's go kind of roughly about there. You can always cut bigger than you need and then trim off if you don't, because if you cut it too small, then you can't really make it bigger. There are things you can do, but you can't really make it bigger. So just be a little bit sort of thoughtful, because I think that might be too big, but we're going to see. I'm going to cut. Oh, yeah, come on. That. And I'm going to cut there. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it on. Oh, that's a weird shape I've cut, but not to worry. Let's have a look. Okay, so I need to, as you can see, I need to cut off a little bit more off one of these edges. So for some reason, measure that quite right, but that's okay. I'd rather be having to take bits off, thinking it's too small. I'm going to put that over there, so in case I need it again. That's looking better. Let's put, you've probably got a better view of this than me because you're looking at the overhead camera. I'm still thinking that might not be enough. Am I having a little funny minute? I am. This is, I definitely still need a little bit off of there. That's okay. As I said, I'm happier to be trimming it off than thinking, oh, it's too small. No, I'm gonna be a little bit more brave, and I'm gonna take a bit more off of there. And I'm gonna regret this. I know this, but I'm gonna take a little bit off here as well. Oh, hello. There we go. And I'm just gonna go with whatever that is with it. We'll work with it. Oh, that's better. We can do that. We can do that. I'll tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to get a pencil and I'm going to mark roughly the corners. Oh, I might, if I can find one. You kind of, the corners can always rub them off. There we go, right. So there's my background. I have my my little honeycomb here. So now I need my bees. So this is the Janine's are set here, and this is the bee. Okay, it's the one with the rounded end. So this is your wasp, more pointy sort of end, and then longer, thinner wings. This one is your bee. That's the one we want. Now these cut, they just cut the whole shape out, but they do emboss some lovely detail in, and it's the embossed areas that allow you to work out how to colour it. Now you can cut these out of white card and paint them completely. You can cut them just out of a colour and use them sort of as they are. What we're going to do is we're going to use some of what we've got left here to cut our bees. So I am going to find an area that I like the look of without too much black on it. So I'm looking for more of a orangey or yellow area. And I'm going to put him there. And here's a bit of tape. We're going to tape over there. Okay. Now, at the same time, we can cut the letters. So I have got some cut, but like I said just now, I can't remember what letters I have and haven't cut. So just for the sake of it, what we're going to do is we're going to take these ones out and we're going to cut the same letters in on this card. So there's our H. Again, I'm looking for kind of bits without too much black on them, so that they contrast to the ones we've cut from black. Those on there, and I'm going to put these here so that I don't lose them. That said, who knows where the A is, or is it still in there? Yes, it's still in there. That would have been silly. There's the A. There's the E. Oh, hello. Come on out. The thing with, I know you can get sets of stamps, sets of dies that are along this kind of bee theme. But I think if you have a set of alphabet dies, then you can do any of those, yourself. Which is why we've gone here with this this particular alphabet set, because you can spell what you want. I have to say, I love alphabet dies. I have loads of them, but my only bugbear with alphabet dies is there's certain letters you could do with more than one of, because like this you're going to end up cutting a few, but that's okay. I can live with it. I can moan about it, but I can live with it. So there's the Y. There's the A and the E. Let's go. I'm using old bits of tape here because I can, because it saves a bit of tape. So I've got the B and I've got the alphabet. I'm going to put this aside. Don't throw your bits away. Those are perfect for other things. So we are going to take the magnetic out, because these should all cut without the extra pressure. So let's put that through. Let's get rid of some of the bit. Some of the bit. See, have they all cut? Indeed they have. Super job. Right, so oh, yep, it's in there. See, look. Oh. I look like I put my hands in a, I don't know, pot of flower pollen or something. But hey ho, my favourite way to be at the end of a crafty session, covered in ink. Right, so I'm going to keep that because there's little bits on there you can still use. So this, almost. Now if you look, you can't really see very much through here. It's a simple die, so it cuts out just the outline, but the embossing is what makes this. So we need to actually emboss this before we take it out of the die, because it will help us to know where to paint our various bits. So we're going to put our embossing mat down. I'm going to put my little bead face down, and we are going to pass that through so that we emboss the little bee. I'm doing that, just get all these. Okay, so if I, oh sorry, I'm reaching across like that. Right, so now hopefully you can see these embossed bits on the back, and they are going to be invaluable in a moment for us painting our black stripes onto our bee. I'm going to put the bee back on the sheet. I'm going to pop out my little alphabet. Let's hope that I have all the letters that I need. We'll see. We'll soon see. Let's keep popping them out. And again, let me get my my sheet where I've got my alphabet dies so that I can keep them in all in the right place, and then I know where everything is. P. I won't make that joke again. M-N-O-P-Q-R-E. Oh, and he's off. Sorry, really awful jokes. I don't know where they're coming from. It's the end of the day. Terrible. G-H-I-J-K. And, ooh, come on, Mr. Y. There we go, right. Okie dokie. So there's letters. We're going to keep those to the side for now. My next job then is to take him from being a little orange sort of weird looking thing into looking more like a bee. So what I need my Black Soot Distress ink, and I'm going to just bring in my white tile here, and I have a very small brush and a little bit of water. You do not need a lot of water, because what you don't want to be doing is diluting the colour. What you need to do is just give it enough to keep it moving so that you can move it on what you're painting. So I'm just going to put a bit of black there. And okay, now I'm not going to lie, but you do need, I found, you might be able to see it on the camera, the best way I found to do this was to hold it, and I can then see where the embossed parts are in order to know what I need to paint and what I don't need to paint. So I'm just going to make my brush wet, and I'm just going to bring in some of the black soot. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with, I know that his legs. So this bit I will put it down. It's that body bit that I found quite tricky without holding it. It's probably my eyesight. If I'm perfectly honest with you, it's probably my appalling eyesight that makes it so hard. Now, as I said, Distress Oxides layer really well. And you can see that's not going on too well, so it needs a little bit more water in there to let it move. They layer really well. So this black is going on really nicely over the top of that oxide spray layer, because it's nice and dry. Okay, so I've done that, the head and those front legs, and I'm just going to do these back legs before I pick it up little bit more water before I pick it up to do the stripes on the body. Okay. By cutting it out of the already coloured card, you've sort of reduced the need to paint in the others, and also it gives it quite a nice more natural looking. It's not all sort of one colour. Okay, so we have, if I bring in this one, you can see. So I've done the head, and then there's a bit that goes down to here. Now, as long as I turn it into the light, I can see where I'm going. So I'm going here, and I am trying hard to make you able to see it too, but you have to bear with me because of getting it in the light the right way. So there's this little bit on the back there. There we go. That's our first bit. Okay, and I am going to bring the black down here. Well, that helps because that helps to define the wings. And this is why I said you do need quite a fine brush for this. And that said, if you have a black alcohol pen, or you have a marker pen that will go over the top of Distress Oxides, then by all means use that. So next I've got, there's a little ridge here, just across here, and that's my next black stripe. It does seem quite fiddly, but actually I think it's worth it. It's extremely worth it. And then the next one, there's another embossed piece here. That's our bottom. That's not the bottom, but it is the bottom stripe. Okay, and then I am just going to, with my brush, just edge. I just need a little bit more water on there, because the bristles on my brush, when they start to sort of separate, you know that it's too dry. You need some more water, some more liquid, just to keep them together. I might have done that a little bit thick, but you get the idea. And I'm also just going to put a black edge around the wings. Just around here. There. And the same on this side. Now I've got in my shadow box, I've got 3 bees, so I'm not going to make you sit and watch me colour 3 bees. I've got the others already done, ready to go, so never fear. You don't have to watch paint drying more than once. Okay, I'm going to just put that down here. I'm going to need it again. I don't want to wipe that off yet because I do want it, but I am going to clean my brush. With little brushes like this, don't jam them down on the bottom, because you will just spread the bristles and they won't come back together. So just give it a little bit of a wipe in some paper towel. Okie dokie. So I think we are ready to start assembling. So let's bring this in. And I've got my little pack here. Let's empty it out. Let's see if I've got everything I need. So I now have 2 more bees. Now you can see that where I cut these ones out was much more yellow, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I've got my 3 bees. Let's see if I've got Be Happy in black and Be Happy in the colour. So B, E. E, B, yay. B, H, A. B, B, Y. That's another song. I won't sing that one either. So Be Happy in black. Let's see now if we've got Be Happy in our colour. B, E. E. H, A, P, P, Y. Look, I'd cut it all out. I didn't need to cut any of it out, but that's okay. Let's put that back in there for another day, another project. Ooh. There we go. Right. First job then is to put our background piece on, and we put those little markers earlier so we have a good idea of where they need to go. Oh dear. I just noticed I've managed to, despite having my little spray station, I've managed to spray my mat, a craft mat, table. I will clean up, I promise. Might not be asked back otherwise. Right, there we go. So, ooh, this is going on to my back, and I'm going to get a piece of copier paper. Excuse me, I'm scrabbling of things in front, so that I can put it down without putting all the mess from my hands on it. Getting any more mess from that on my hands. There we go. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put our little beehive on. I'm going to bring that in. Don't really know that I do need to blot this. So what I did is I put a good amount of glue on all the border bits, because those are kind of like your real, you know, those are going to stick down. And all these bits between as well, these kind of border bits. Now the circle bits are a bit trickier. So I don't think I stuck them down in this one. And because it's inside the shadow box, I'm not too bothered if they sort of pop up a little bit off the page. Gives them a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I am going to stick this on my canvas. Bring it in slightly. There, and I'm going to get my little bit of copy paper again, and I'm going to press down so that this sticks. There we go. Oh, press that one down a bit more. There we go. Right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the letters. I'm going to do the bees last because I want to shape them and put a little bit of 3D glue gel underneath. So you can probably see how shiny this is. This is all dried glue where I blotted things today. I'm looking for my tweezers, which are also very covered in glue. Right, so I am first of all just going to have a little place of my if I could pick them up, I might, of my letters, just so that I know this is tricky because I'm putting the same color on the same color, but at least it gives me an idea of the spacing. Have I got it right? Do I need to move anything? So always just check where things are going to go before you stick them. So B, 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 and then the H, A, sorry. I'm demob happy. This is my last one before Christmas. So it won't be around for a few weeks. So this is my last one. Getting inky in front of you lot. I should just be doing it in my own little craft room for a few weeks. Okay, so right. So I'm happy with the placement of those. So now we're going to stick those down. And then we're going to stick the black ones on top. Oh, come on you. You want to come out? You know you do. There we go. Right. Okie dokie. So you may or may not be able to see the H. I can just about make it out, so I know where I'm placing that. Okay, and the A. I mean, with having the alphabet dies, you could do be yourself. You could do happy birthday. Maybe there's all sorts of things you can do. I'm sure if you Google kind of bee related sentiments, there are an awful lot that you could be doing. There is another one that we're on. I've got on the next card, which is says "Hello, honey." So yeah, having the alphabet dies just gives you that versatility, and also you can personalize things. You can put people's names on, and if you are selling your cards, that is sort of a point that you can offer that to people, an extra sort of little thing that makes you stand out. Okay, there's our E. Ooh, E nearly went too. There's the E. Oh, come on. I have very gluey. I have inky, gluey. Oh, I'm sorry. I know it. Oh, do you ever like doing that at school? I'm been a teacher, and when you get that whole, like, you know, PVA glue, and then it dries, and then you just peel it all off. You see, it's peeled the ink off as well. There we go. So could be my solution to cleaning my hands. No, not really. But it certainly does the job when you get it on you. Right, B, E. There we go. And then the B. Now, at the moment, I know that you probably can barely see this. But the reason I've done it is because you can see a colour difference between it and the background. And it does just help to bring these black letters a little bit further forward from the inky background. There's the H, the A. Sorry, I sound like I'm doing a spelling lesson here. I'm sure you all know how to spell happy birthday. There we go. So now I've used these colours because I thought, oh, bees, sort of orangey, sort of yellows, but you don't have to. You could use any colours, whatever you know, colours you like. And if you don't have the oxide sprays, you could just do a sort of a inked background, or you know, you can adapt it however you fancy. Off and the Y. See, now that really, oh, hello, stay there. There we go. That's really popping off now. And then B, and then our little message is done. And then we will just put our little bees onto our little honeycomb there. Yep, upside down. Put more glue on there. And E, P, and the final E. We can get to our little bees, little buzzy bees to stick onto the final bit. Okay, right, here we go. Now, oh, hello. I chose this size of shadow frame, but if you have a bigger one, then you just, you know, cut your backing part to fill it. So it doesn't have to be, it could be smaller. You can cut this down, which I'll show you in the next project. You can cut it down so that you've got a much smaller amount of honeycomb. Just one or two or three. Okay, so what have I got? Let's see how we're going to do this. This one here. We'll have this one here. And we'll have this one coming in from the side. Here. And this one here. There we go. So, there it is. Okay, and the moment of truth. We put it in the frame and see if I did leave enough room. Let's bring the frame back in. So I've got it face down. This then goes in. This then sits on the top. Let's just pull the thing back. There. And oh, I know I'm reaching out of shot. I'm sorry, I've got lots of things in front of me here. And then here is the back of our frame. It's going to be one of those, oh no. You ready? Let's see, did I manage to do it? Yay, just. could probably do with shoving a little bit that way, but we got there. Excellent. So that, putting something like that, you could put it on a card, but putting something like that inside just nice cheap shadow box frame really elevates it. And then, you know, you can give these as gifts, or, you know, sell these as gifts. So yeah, brilliant. I really enjoyed doing that project. I'm just going to, bear with me while I just have a little bit of a tidy up, because the next one is also messy, and I just need to make sure I've got all the right bits in the right place. So now, this next project uses a technique that I did do on the live last week, but Dean, who's the other side of the camera, afterwards he went, "Oh, I'm surprised you didn't put any pixie sparkles in that." I was like, "Oh, I hadn't even thought about it." So this week I've had a bit of an experiment with the salt technique, but using some pixie sparkles in with it. Okay, so let's see. We're going to be using this again because we're going to be using the bee. We don't need the stamps, so they can go. What else do we need? I need the alphabet. We're going to be using the alphabet again on this one, and we also need our Elizabeth Crafts Honeycomb Dots there. So those are the three we're going to be using. We are going to be making this little thing. Now you might think, oh well, doesn't look like it involves very much. Well, this background and these and the bee, try that again. All the coloured paper here, it was done using the salt technique, and I'll show you. There were 2 stages to it because there was something else I talked about last week but didn't do, that I have actually done this week. So let's put the dies out of the way and let us start creating our salty background. Let's put the lid on that. So going with the same colours as I did before. So I've got fossilised amber and I've got spice marmalade, and I am using the sprays again because the salt technique needs water or liquid, and obviously they are liquidy. So I'm going to bring my yes I am going to do it in here. I've already made enough of a mess, but I am going to put a piece of kitchen roll into each one for this particular technique. So I need, where's all my bits? All my bits for this one is here. Okay, and I have 2 bits of card. So I've got 2 things to do here. So along with my distress oxides, I am this time using the Pumpkin Patch Pixie Sparkles and also the Pixie Sparkle Highlights. There's no pigment, no colour in that. It just gives a lovely gold, shimmery, glittery, mercury, you know, nice little glittery stuff. Okay, so we also need salt. And I just realised I haven't bought any fresh salt. So, not to worry, we'll use this again. It's no bother because it's the same, pretty much the same idea. But I'm gonna have to do something in between. Do a salt technique, Carole, and don't bring salt. What a good idea! I am going to start by just spraying the back of the card, and I'm going to do that on both. It just stops it from bowing down. So let's concentrate on this piece first, okay? And I am going to spray this. It's hard to see when you're just spraying water as to where how wet it is. So I'm spraying it with water, and then I'm going to spray with my distress oxides, and you'll see it gives a really lovely sort of when it goes in. There you go. You see, I did probably shake that enough. You see the yellow and And the orange, it's split in there, so we might go back in with the orange in a minute. We need it, it needs to be wet. It needs to be really, really wet. Because, and I'm going to then put the pixie sparkles on quickly. So this one is the pumpkin patch, so you can see that going on. Yeah. And then the molten gold. I said this one is just purely for sparkle, no colour. Okay, and I am going to give it another spray. This is one, it does take a while to dry, but actually you can, I'm going to get a mister spray rather than a full-on one. There we go. There, you can see all that water. Okay, and while it's wet, that's when you want to get your salt on. Okay, because what the salt does is it starts to pull up all of the pigment, and you then get this lovely effect. So this salt that I'm using, I used on it the original one, so this is like its second time around, but it will still work. Okay, so that's the main one. Okay, and I'm going to just move both of these off for a moment. And I'm going to go in my container here, and I have one that I have already done in here. Okay, this is the full-on one. So yeah, there we go. So you can see where the salt has really started to pull up the ink. So I'm going to just take a palette knife. I'm just going to get rid of them off, and then just very gently start to go over. Now, I don't want to lose this salt, which is why I'm trying to keep as much as I can on here. Okay, I want this salt. I did quite a bit of salt there, so let's do a little bit of a scrape. Because this salt I'm going to use with just some water to create a much less full-on background, a much subtler background, because the salt crystals have absorbed the ink, and you can see we've got the lovely sparkle in there from the pixie sparkle. But so obviously you can use pixie sparkles with the salt technique. But what I did find quite interesting is when you reuse this, possibly because there's pixie sparkles mixed in with this, you still get a shimmery background, even though you're not adding any more pixie sparkles. Right, so there is my main background. Okay, and because I forgot to bring the salt, we've now got to collect all that. And you can see it's fairly orangey, fairly yellowy. Okay. So I'm going to bring my little thing back up. Yeah. Dean's probably having a fit with the amount of things I'm bringing in and out and in and out, shaking it all about. So now on this one, I literally, oh, hello, let's just spray. Now you can see I obviously oversprayed on this one, and you can see the colours coming through there, but I don't mind. So I am literally just spraying water onto this piece of card. I'm really making it wet. And then this salt, I am just putting back over. And what happens is, because there's no ink on the paper, apart from that little bit up there, the ink that is in the salt, where this is nice and wet, the ink will just bleed out of that salt onto the paper. So you get a really nice effect, which still had the sparkle on, which I'll show you in a minute. It really surprised me, but much subtler than that one. So you end up with a really nice vibrant piece and a really nice subtle piece, all from the same salt. So I'm going to move that. And then I have, like the other one, I have one that is already dry, and hopefully you'll be able to see the difference. Let's get rid of that. And there. Open this up. Okay, so you can see here, there's much more yellowy than the one I've done. I think the one I've just done is much more orange. But if we start to scrape off, I'm going to do it sort of that way. You can see that the salt has, sorry, the pigment has come out of the salt. And I don't know if you can pick up, the sparkle is there too. So I've got one really nice vibrant background and one really subtle background, and that's just a case of having reused the salt from the second one. Don't scrape. If you, I found brushes weren't hard enough, or the bristles came out of them. I found using a J cloth was okay, but I found using this is better. The only thing I would say is don't sort of push in too hard, because if you get a bit of salt stuck, it does rip the top of the paper off. Okay, so I'm not going to throw that salt away. I'm going to keep that, and it will probably go through another cycle, possibly mixed in. I've got some blue salt from the one I did, the Facebook Live I did last week, so we'll see what kind of effect that makes. But yeah, don't just bin it, it is usable again. Okay, so I am going to put, oh hello, second lid won't go on, will it? You need it on the other one. Okay, right, move those to the side. So I now have my lovely pale background. I have lots of salt still on my mat. Bear with me. And is it left shoulder you throw it over? I think, isn't it? Just, I'll clean it up later, I promise. Right, so there are my two backgrounds. So Distress Oxide sprays, salt, and Pixie Sparkles, Pumpkin Patch, and the Molten Gold Pixie Sparkle highlights. So I'm liking that. I liking that I can have a sparkly effect with the salt as well. The salt, the effect of the crystallizing of the salt, but the sparkle of the Pixie Sparkles. So, okay, where do we go now? We need a little card. So we're going to just go with a small, so just a 4x4 made out of black card. And I am going to use this lovely light card as the actual main background. Okay, so then everything else that goes on it really pops out. But obviously the edges are quite white, so I'm going to want to cut into it. So I'm going to make one cut to begin with, so I end up a little bit near where all the colour is. I can feel there's still salt on there, so not to worry. You can get more of that off when you do it at home. And then I'm going to also trim down, get rid of some of the white from this edge. So I've got more yellow here, so I can now do my kind of like by eye. Where am I going to do my background? Here and here. I'm also going to do that, just as it needs to go up that way, because it's the end of the afternoon and my head's a little bit wee. Okay, now these little bits, don't throw them out. Always useful for die cutting letters and flowers, sentiments. So there is my nice pale yellow background there. Okay, now I am going to cut this now with the Elizabeth Crafts art journal die box. I don't need it all, but it can be used on other projects. But I am going to see the way I can save the most amount of card for another day. It really depends on this one, whether this one will fit that way or not.
Fire a second. Chrome's just broken. Things still working, but I don't know if the Facebook Live's still working.
If we are still live on Facebook, I'm sorry, we're just having a technical issue here, so I don't want to keep going just in case we've dipped out. So if you are there, you know, just don't disappear, don't go away. Just bear with us a moment. Chrome has messed around, so it's not going to fit. It's going to have to go like that. Okay, so hopefully, well, I might still have been there all the time. I don't know. I am now working out where I can fit this on to save as much of my card as possible. So it's going to go there. Stick that down just like we did when we cut it out for the shadow frame. Stick that. Oh, excuse me. Stick that outer one down first. Yeah, so that it doesn't move while you're trying to line this up and get as much of an even edge as you can. Right, so using old bits of tape, but that's okay. All a bit messy at the minute, but it does the job. Right, so okay. Okay.
So it's the software on the computer doing it, not Chrome.
Okay. Just don't know what I've got. I need to cut them out of that.